everyone respects and prays to God, but they have no shadows and leave no traces. So people carve effigies or statues to make the gods settle down where they want them to. So that means to contain them inside the statues. People worship them so that a very special bond grows between the gods, the deities, and the worshippers. If the bond is strong, the spirit will never leave. So I had the privilege to have in my hands a very, very precious effigy or statue, as you can see here, from the last surviving Taoist effigy making shop in Singapore. Thanks to grandson Chong, his dad, which is Yao Hua, and the grand old dame of saytianhng, Madam Tan Chui Lin. So what I have here is actually a 中坛元帅 effigy. So 中坛元帅 is the marshal of the central altar. It's a manifestation of 三太子, 莲花三太子, or people know him as Li Na Zha. And this particular effigy here is as old as myself. So this effigy is 40 years old. So before I reveal him to viewers, I'll explain why he's actually covered in red paper, as you can see here. So the 中坛元帅 actually arrived wrapped up like this, and just because he has yet to be 开光点眼. So 开光点眼 is the Chinese term of consecration or consecrating a statue of a deity. In Chinese, the literal meaning of 开光点眼 is the opening of light. So when they do a 开光点眼, they will be dotting all the vital signs in the eyes, nose, mouth, hands, arms, feet, anything that will actually bring the statue alive and also to move, is the empowerment of the empty effigy and to fill it with the divine essence of the deity itself. So I'm just gonna open this up so you obviously could see 中坛元帅 in all his glory. So here goes. So yeah. So I might have to move him slightly closer so you can see. There we go. So he's a gorgeous effigy, made you feel so alive, and I always believe, and I've told a few of my friends and family that you don't actually go online and select a statue like buying something off Amazon or eBay. It's more the feeling or the power, the energy that draws you to the effigy or the statue instead. So it's more like, in my own layman terms, it's more the effigy actually selecting me to own him. So as you can see, this is the effigy or statue of 中坛元帅, a manifestation of 三太子 or Li Na Zha. So the 中坛元帅, he's actually dressed in combat gear, ready to battle. You can see he's got armor and he's stepping on his fire wheel. In his hands he's holding the universe ring, as well as the fire tip spear, as well as, around him, which is on the outside, is his armillary sash, which is very standard of a 中坛元帅 effigy of how he actually looks like. So he's always, stepping on his fire wheel with the universe ring and the fire tip spear that he's holding in his hands. So on his armor, there's these raised, there's these raised intricate patterns, and it's actually created by threading fine threads of sandalwood ash dough and slowly, creating these raised designs. I'm not sure whether you could see, but I can bring him slightly closer. Yeah, there you go. So you can see the raised designs here on his armor itself, even on his arm, the front of his chest as well. There. So these are created by threading fine threads of sandalwood ash. They actually use the old joss stick ash, and it's yes. So you can see the intricate patterns, and these are done slowly by hand. So as a sorry, oops, he's very shaky. The mighty deity 哪吒 or 三太子 is venerated in the sanctified title of 中坛元帅, which is the marshal of the central altar, which means he can command the 5 altars, which is called the 五营神将, the altars of the north, south, east, west, and him being in the center. And he guards the residents or everyone in the area as well. So the origins of saytianhng, this particular effigy shop, or the oldest or surviving effigy shop in Singapore, actually dates back to 1896. When some members of the Ng family actually left Kinmen Island off the coast of Fujian province in China to come to Singapore to set up a Taoist effigy shop, these Chinese pioneers not only made Singapore home, but also grew roots there as well. Today, this business at 123 years of age is managed by the father, which is Ng Yaohua, and obviously the grand old dame, the grandmother, Madame Tan Chui Lien, who has more than 70 years experience tucked right under her belt. So the grandmother, Madame Tan Chui Lien, who is 89 years old, has spent almost every day of the past 71 years at this particular effigy shop or at the business since marrying into the Ng family in 1949 at the very young age of 18 years old. So both Madame Tan Chui Lien and Ng Yaohua continues to craft these effigies of the Taoist deities by hand from blocks of camphor wood, which is actually softer, and sometimes our teak wood, but teak is actually harder. And these are really interesting and really intricate, painstaking process that actually takes up weeks, if not months, to complete after consulting the Chinese almanac for a auspicious day to start carving the particular effigy. So once the shape of the deity is actually carved from the block of wood, be it camphor or teak, the next step is the process of threading, like I mentioned earlier on, which involves the fine threads of sandalwood ash dough being threaded and to create exquisite patterns, in this case on 中坛元帅's armor, representing dragons or other symbolic motifs. So as we open our eyes to tangible qualities we find in Chinese deity and god statues, we'll then be able to write or understand or be able to formulate better descriptions of who they are that challenge our theories and demand more subtle ones, and sometimes these theories may also enable us to situate Chinese religion more firmly in relation to religion as a human phenomenon. So these deities and these godly deity statues are created so that we can have good or able to formulate or have good perspective to draw attention back to the visual evidence that our eyes provide and the diversity of stories that these deities and gods that add meaning to what we see and what we worship. These effigies that are painstakingly hand-carved by saytianhng are definitely Singapore's intangible cultural heritage, and artisans such as the Grand Old Dame Madam Tan Chui Lian and Ng Yao Hua are living cultural assets that their skills and knowledge needs to be documented for continuity's sake, as well as then handed on to the next generation of artisans we have in Singapore.